My work with DXtera really began when I was at the Tennessee Board of Regents. I was creating a new kind of predictive analytics engine, which is called trajectory analytics. And the idea there was really to take a student record and take it in conjunction with all of the other amounts of student data that we might have across a system like the Tennessee Board of Regents, and use that to develop some technology to anticipate when students were about to fall off being successful in the degree program that they were currently in. Was there a way in which we could recognize when someone was pursuing a degree and we would know there is just very little likelihood that this student will be successful in this program, but more than that, that actually they could be successful in other programs and we might be able to use that as part of an advising solution. So we were developing that technology, and at that sort of moment then began this conversation with the team at MIT to recognize that there was a sort of a universal data bus where we could pull that information out of the data structure and then apply the kinds of analytics that I was developing in Tennessee on the other end. And so that began this work. And it really was pretty exciting because of the fact that a traditional approach really would have meant that we'd have had to build a whole new set of algorithms right from the start every time we moved from a different data system and a different database setup. This meant we could build it once and use that universal connector. Whenever we're looking at different kinds of technology in this space, I think really there are two kinds of return on the investment. The first is simply a financial one, that when it comes down to it, for us to be able to control the cost of higher education, we have to be looking at how much it costs to deliver that education in an effective way. And so finding cost-effective kinds of solutions like the DXtera solution is an important part of that. And it really is the case that ways in which we're able to take students who previously would have been unsuccessful and instead keep them in higher education, keep them in ways in which they're pursuing their education. It really is the case that they're still paying tuition, and that tuition runs to the institution or the system, and that certainly is an ongoing return on the investment that we're making. But of course, as I've also alluded, there is another kind of investment, which is simply the success of that student. Using the kinds of technologies that we're talking about now have proven track records of really being able to close equity gaps, be that equity gaps of students of color or students of poverty. And if we're committed to having a much better educated populace, as I believe we are, this is the way of the future of really being able to do that.